Alright, so look. You want to know how to have that support system of like a cult-like fan base, right? You want to be Marilyn Manson.
I think you meant to say Charles Manson.
And you want your supporters to be like his followers. I completely understand. There is really only one way you can do this. Okay, hold on, I'm lying. It's like a couple of different ways, and I'm gonna show you how. See, I don't want to be a rapper. I just know a lot about music, and if I were a rapper, I would know exactly what to do in order to get the biggest following and make people listen to anything I drop. When I think of a cult-like fan base, I think of those artists where if you say their music is trash, it doesn't matter how many facts you come up with, their fan base will never agree with you. Like Rod Wave, Youngboy, Tyler the Creator, SB, who collectively all have their own sound, I will admit. Now, over the years, with each of these artists, their sounds have very much changed, with Tyler the Creator especially. In the early days of his career, he was compared to the likes of Tech 9, Necro, and ICP, grouping him into the category of horrorcore. Nowadays, his music is nowhere near that, with huge influences that stem from a more melodic, softer production style. But the main point is, it's his sound. You really cannot compare it to much in the hip-hop space, which is one of the many reasons his fan base is cult-like. Consistency is one of the biggest key factors when it comes to having a support system like this as well. Playboi Carti, for example, has really never missed with his core audience, in my opinion. Are there lackluster songs? Sure. But as far as a project he would put out to the world in its entirety, he's always managed to deliver. With over 35 million monthly listeners, you would think that Carti would have like at least 5 albums out at this point and over like 15 years in the music game, but no. Carti has only officially released 2 mixtapes and 3 albums. Now, with only 5 bodies of work officially, how the hell do you amass 35 million monthly listeners? Consistency. By his fan base's account, almost everything he drops is banger after banger. Now, of course, like everyone else, you'll have haters, but as for his fan base, they are ride or die. They take pictures of this man doing regular things and overall just treat this guy like a rare Pokemon, which could be attributed to the fact that he barely posts on social media and is overall a mysterious person. But we've already talked about that before. With NBA Youngboy, it's a little different. Being probably the furthest thing from mysterious, Youngboy has one of the most dedicated fan bases of all time. He's been in a lot of public beefs and really puts a lot of his feelings in his own music. In turn, he's created a cult-like fan base yet again. If you can remember, at one point, anytime you saw a tweet referring to anyone in the music space, there was always at least one troll in the comments saying, "Why be better?" Simply being better than whatever it is that was being talked about. There was also a point where it was a trend to make fun of Youngboy fans because of how aggressive Youngboy is.
Bro, why you got an earring on?
I bet you won't do me nothing.
Whoa.
It made me feel comfortable. Bitch ass nigga.
What the fuck?
People create parasocial relationships with these artists almost every day. There's a whole show on Amazon pretty much covering a very extreme example of a superfan that develops this kind of relationship towards her favorite artist in the show, with heavily similarities to Beyonce. Now, one thing we can all agree on is that relatability heavily ties in with building that connection with someone that they wouldn't get from most normal interactions because, well, to put it in simple terms, you're not gonna get it from anywhere else. See, this is way more common than you would think. SB has that fan base full of depressed ass people because, let's be real, they make depressing music.
Like, how do you rich and still sad?
As a former huge fan of them, I think I'd know. I discovered these guys in 2014, and you know, they're rapping about how depressed they are and how they want to delete themselves in GTA. I, at the time, and sometimes now, felt the same way. So as a listener, I gravitated towards something I can relate to. A lot of people do that. You know, the same can be said for why mentally unstable women listen to Mitski. Another artist with a very cult-like fan base. Like, I'm pretty sure Mitski could spit into a bucket in a recording studio and somehow have another #1 album of the week. That's how strong her fan base is. Furthermore, the same can be said for Juice WRLD, who, let's be real, has fans of all ages and archetypes because Juice WRLD, as many of his fans will probably tell you, has saved lives with his music. Now, I'm definitely not a part of that demographic, but I do understand. You know, Juice WRLD makes pretty depressing songs, and a lot of his fans are pretty depressed people. It would also help that he may have been one of the best freestylers of all time, so he had the skill and relatability to create that super deep fan base that still to this day pays for his leaks. And speaking of Juice WRLD, another thing I definitely want to say helps create this type of audience when we're talking about a cult fan base is actually having a personality. Throughout the many videos I've seen of Juice WRLD, he really seemed like one of the nicest people you could meet, taking pictures with supporters, joking around, and just being a regular person, even amongst all the really messed up stuff he was going through. That's one of the biggest things that can help you create a cult-like fan base. To rewind a little bit, you can even look at Tyler the Creator, who has a very colorful personality.
My bad, Nardi. You had me nervous.
Longtime fans of Tyler have basically grown up with him, as when his career really took off, he was only 20. Now he's 32. And the crazy thing is, while his subject matter of his music has changed drastically, he still has that massive fan base that supports literally everything he does. Tyler the Creator was on a TV show called Loiter Squad where they did random segments and skits. Getting a personal view into who somebody is and how they act definitely helps build that fan base. He seems like a pretty nice guy, and clearly that helps people gravitate towards you. The same can unfortunately not be said with someone else that has a cult-like fan base. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I've spoken about Travis Scott on my channel before, so for those of you who have been here for a while, you probably already know how I feel about this guy. Travis Scott is a dick. He's not a great person at all, but still somehow has an insane fan base. People that will still go to his shows after never mind. I really tried to figure out why exactly his fan base is so insane, and to be completely honest, the answer flew over my head until it finally clicked. The easiest way to gain a fan base like this, it's not consistency, it's not relatability, it's literally just good music. I mean, come on. We've talked about Playboi Carti, Tyler the Creator, Rod Wave, NBA Youngboy. All of these guys make good music, except for one of them that I just said. And good music can carry you to such a high degree, you wouldn't even begin to understand it. Think about it like this. Michael Jackson obviously has the kind of support we're talking about years after his passing. Not saying you'll ever be like Michael Jackson, but keep listening. Michael Jackson, objectively, by all accounts, makes good music. Music so good, in fact, that his face was all over magazine covers for years. The world's best-selling album of all time. I think it's safe to say the man made good music. And sure, you can argue that good music is opinionated and it's subjective, but come on, who doesn't like Michael Jackson? The point being, making good music is your best shot at gaining this type of support. And the crazy thing is that even though making good music is your best shot, it also is another thing that really goes into it is just how you market yourself. Something that will bring people in. Because this may be contradictory to what I just said, but honestly, there's plenty of artists in the music space who suck, but they have that cult following. I'm not gonna name any names, but there's a lot of people, especially in the underground rap scene, where they'll listen to anything a certain artist drops and call it good, even though, in my opinion, it isn't. But the way they market themselves is honestly pretty good. And like I said earlier, this is subjective because while I may think it's complete and utter garbage, somebody else might think it's the best thing they've ever heard and they need their ears taken away. Okay, my bad. We got way off topic. Back to Travis Scott. Now, am I a fan of Travis Scott? No, but I know good music when I hear it. Music that can be so generalized to just sounding very well put together. That's Travis Scott in a nutshell. I don't even consider him one of the best rappers at all. In fact, he's not even in my top 20. But it's almost like he coordinates his music so well together. His projects are more of like movies, especially with Utopia. It's really hard to explain, but he started out as a producer and has been self-producing, obviously with the help of others, on his own projects throughout the entirety of his whole career. I think Travis Scott aims for more of an experience when you listen to him rather than him just shoving a new album down your throat. People absolutely love that, and I really think that's why Utopia took him so long. He's great in just creating music, and ever since Days Before Rodeo, he's been showcasing his skill on every project he's ever released, and it definitely has not gone unnoticed. I mean, the man got Cardi, Drake, The Weeknd, Beyonce on his project. This wasn't something he was just throwing at you. This was a real artistic project, and almost all of his projects are like that. So in conclusion, If you want that cult-like fan base, you may want to be more relatable. You're one in billions of people. I'm sure someone has gone through what you have, so share it. You need to be consistent too. You can't just drop one amazing thing and think people are gonna put you on this insane pedestal. That's not gonna work. You need to keep going and going and going. And overall, man, realistically, you just need to be good. That's like the main thing. Do something that hasn't been done yet and be a revolutionary. Otherwise, you'll just be another name that'll be forgotten, like Young Chris. Later.
On my shoulder, I move bricks like boulders. Cat on shit, man, know you good. Catch his ass and roll him. AK on my shoulder, I move bricks like boulders. Cat on shit, man, know you good. Catch his ass and roll him. I caught a Migo, he bring me like 10 bags.